All right. What is up, guys? It's Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, the only something right now. Today, we're going to be talking about an emergency broadcast, and this is really happening right now as we speak. So we'll be right back after this. All right, guys. So this is not an official show. This is actually this is getting ready for. I'll just be honest with you. This is a huge event, and no matter what you think of this event, I'll just straight up tell you right now, it is kicking off in Washington. The video now, if you have not seen Governor Jay Inslee. He came forward and he essentially banned all events over 250 people. And then he said that the rest of the country is to follow, and they are going to be setting the precedent. They're going to be setting an example. They're going to be setting kind of the template for the rest of the country. So you don't have to believe me at this point. I'll let you wait a couple days until this actually happens. Now they're banning large events, and not only this. You go, well, who cares if I'm not meeting with 250 people? They're also actually striking down on smaller events too if you do not follow the guidelines. So underneath the governor, the entire state of 7 million people is going to be banning these larger events. So that means the home Mariners game is going to be empty, playing in front of no one. Which, by the way, if you watched my show last week, we talked about how LeBron James, a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago, said he would not play if the fans weren't there. It was almost like, somebody told him, hey, it's going to get to the point where you're going to be playing in front of empty crowds. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So this is one of the biggest things to happen in our lifetimes. Like they say, in fact, this woman says, it is one of the most transformative things that will ever happen. The words he uses, the statements they make during this, are absolutely blowing me away right now. Dex, now this is kind of an emergency broadcast, but I wanted to bring you in because obviously now they have actually declared a pandemic now, which we don't want to say because we're not trying to get this shuttered. Are you there? Dex, are you there?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle fam. Sorry about that. Something was wrong with the audio. The World Health Organization, the WHO, actually has officially declared this a pandemic, as we're saying. And yes, that's a milestone. It's been a while. I thought they would have done this a long time ago, but we've had a lot of other intel that sort of suggested why they might not. But yeah, that's a big milestone today.
So obviously they say that there was a lot of reasons they're not doing that. That, just like when in Washington, when we declared the state of emergency, all of a sudden it just kicked off all of the panic shopping. It kicked off all this. Now, again, I don't want people to panic, but I do want to state the reality of this. This is going to, and then get this. It's not just a ban of 250 plus. He says in the next couple days, he says, I absolutely want schools to understand. We want you to create plans to be able to close the schools. And the only reason they haven't closed all of the schools is because some of them said that they didn't have contingency plans. Not only that, the only superintendent in my sister's district up in North Shore, they actually closed all of their schools. That superintendent went out on a limb and actually closed her school district, even against people, coming after her, saying, it was a dumb idea. They organize a whole bunch of stuff. In fact, my sister had a laptop brought to her house, literally brought to the house by the school district, so my nephew could do his schooling. On top of that, in low-income situations, they're actually putting together school lunches in that district, and they set the template for what is going to happen now. So now my 14-year-old and everybody else that's going to school, they of course are going to start having to do school from home. This is what I predict. He basically says it in the video, and I'll show you some clips of that. Not only that, he says, this is not the end. This is most likely going to extend in the next couple days, and it will be a template for the rest of the country. He says, unfortunately, the rest of the country is right behind us. So I'll show you a couple of the clips here. It is very unnerving. I mean, this is really, really, really crazy here. Let me show you here. I mean, this is probably one of the biggest things to happen to us in a long time. Let's see here.
Testing, and then really another incredibly important piece of this is that everybody should understand that there's guidance now centers, but the
consequences of lack of community responsibility.
Now watch this. I'm going to pull this up.
Do that legally, and the reason is because we care about the grandparents that might attend, and so that's the principal motivating force here. So it does apply to social gatherings and family gatherings, and over 250. And what King County has done is to say if you have an area below 250, some social event, we want social distancing to the extent humanly possible.
Can we get in County
yes.
They're going to be enforced?
I'm sorry?
For people, a question for Executive Constantine.
Yeah.
How is that going to be enforced? And are you talking about restaurants? Or are you talking about?
No.
Watch this. So they want restaurants to continue, but get this. They say only if they can enforce the social distancing.
People are going to do that. I had a discussion with John Stanton the other day of the Mariners, and, missing a home opener is a big, big deal to the state of Washington. But I think he and others understand the importance of health, and I think we're going to have acceptance of this. Yes. I mean, it continues to go up so that it probably... Mayor Victoria Woodard of Tacoma. I wasn't sure if you got introduced, but thank you.
I'm going to pull up the part.
So I have two priorities.
and making other during regional core.
I've connected with leadership of our
and reduce.
Watch
we
this.
may need real critical care for thousands of people in the months as we go forward. I want to talk about schools. People are intensely interested in this issue. We have been doing a very, very deep search into the science about how to reduce the transmission rates associated with our children. The good news is that our children are relatively free of serious disease associated with this. But the best science tells us they still have the capability of transmitting the disease to other people they come in contact with. And so we are giving intense thought about what we can do in regard to our children. In that regard, I'm asking all of our school districts to immediately begin contingency planning for potential school closures in the next several days.
In the next several days. So that's one thing that affects us personally. So if you live other places in the country, you're like, who cares? Watch, it's going to come to your town, and your kids will be. This will close your schools. This is not to scare people. This again, maybe you get some good family time out of it. But how it works in my sister's district is at 8 a.m. She has to wake up and make sure that he's on the computer. He has to sit there. So basically, it's forced homeschooling, which I guess isn't that bad. But again, that's kind of how it is working out there.
We are asking them to do so because we know they care about our kids, but we also know that the schools can help us on providing the nutritional needs for children,
delivering the lunches.
If in fact closures are required, and they can help consider what we can do for childcare for parents if in fact closures occur. This is very important as we think about this, because we don't want to have nurses have to leave their employment at a hospital in the middle of an epidemic because they don't have child care resolved. So we're asking our school district leaders to bend to this task of figuring out what we can do.
As Governor Inslee outlined,
I want to catch
days.
right here.
We are
Oh, there we go.
on providing the nutritional needs for children, if in fact closures are required, and they can help consider what we can do for childcare for parents if in fact closures occur. This is very important as we think about this, because we don't want to have nurses have to leave their employment at a hospital in the middle of an epidemic because they don't have child care resolved. So we're asking our school district leaders to bend to this task of figuring out what we can do in the event we have to make these decisions. It is expected I will give more guidance in the next couple of days in that regard. And I'll be talking to superintendents of the 3 counties I've talked about this afternoon. So I want to, conclusion, thank Washingtonians for helping lead the nation. Unfortunately, we know that the rest of the nation will be where we are perhaps in a couple or 3 weeks. And we hope that the things we're doing aggressively here can set a template for the rest of the country. I've talked to several of my colleagues and shared our experiences to date.
So to make sure you guys understand, this is setting a template. They say that we're 1 to 3. They say they're 2 to 3 weeks ahead of the rest of the country. They also know, and he states that we have thousands of he straight up says we have thousands of cases that are not there. So whether you believe or not, we are going to be physically getting worse. And they go into it. They say that we are actually going to get worse results from this, that we are going to be getting more things like a lockdown. Also, I'm getting messages from family like crazy. So people are actually considering. If you don't know me, my name is Adam. I run 2 YouTube channels. One is at 152,000 subscribers. One is at 108,000 subscribers. We have a website. We have groups all over the country that meet. We have a website, marfugalnews.com. People are actually saying, hey, this is a lot of our family and people that we know are deciding to go to their areas, to go to their spots. I am not there yet. If we do that, we shut down our entire operation. If we go to our cabin, that shuts down our entire show. Our show stops because we do not have internet. It is completely off grid. I'm not a crazy prepper by any means. In fact, we talk about this. The military has contingency plans for absolutely everything. The government has contingency plans for absolutely everything. We don't think you're crazy for having a contingency plan. And people don't think the military is crazy for having a contingency plan. But if you have one in this day and age, you are looked down upon. You're looked down upon like you're the weird homeless guy on the corner that says the end is near. That's not how it should be. We should be able to realize things like this. So no matter what you think of this event, this virus, whether you think it's a common cold or you think it is the worst thing that's ever happened, the lockdowns are going to be real. And we've called this since basically the first week of January. We called it, we told you, and remember, they were still talking about impeachment then. They weren't even talking about this. So when people say, oh, the MSM's covering it so it's fake, no, they were avoiding this as long as they could. They were trying to look at impeachment. They were trying to talk about everything else. Now they're trying to kind of spin it, control it. Here's the thing. This is a huge deal. This is a gigantic deal. Like he said, the home opener of a game that usually pumps, millions of dollars into the city, that is, either going to be canceled or not have a single fan in there. So it'll be televised and they play by themselves. We said this when LeBron James said almost 2 weeks ago. It was like somebody gave him a heads up that this was going to happen. Jay Inslee is the first one to say this. He's not going to be the last. New York is next. They have National Guards sitting in the cities helping with sanitization and all this. let me just remind you, it looks a lot like other places. Now, our economy is taking a serious hit. The best places that are actually getting good results is like Walmart and all these places that everybody's rushing to get all the types of food. People have been panic buying. People have been doing things that they shouldn't have been, grabbing 40 isopropyl alcohols, which absolutely screws everybody else, grabbing 80 sanitizers that you probably will never use. This is irresponsible. It's just absolutely not okay. Now, by the way, we're going to put all of the links here. I want to show you too. This is an X-ray, which, by the way, we had one of our very trusted sources tell us about. Their friend was a radiologist, and they tried sounding alarms about 3-4 weeks ago, and it is looked down upon to go above and beyond the centers for, you'll fill in the blank. And then they said that it looked like glass nodules in it, which I thought was pretty interesting. We just found this. It says, these X-ray images show the damage that CV is doing to the lungs of people who catch the potentially deadly bug. Doctors have been able to identify specific abnormalities caused by this event, and the patterns are similar to those found in patients from SARS and MERS outbreaks. So there's actual pictures. They are different. And when these radiologists were saying things about this, and by the way, this is people that never got tested, they go, don't worry about it, send them back out in the lobby, apparently. And I'll just say that you guys that follow my show know that happened, and I told you guys about it. Now they know that there are specific things that are actually happening with this event. Let's see here. And then with this lungs situation, even if you are a healthy young buck, 30 years old, you think, oh, I'm not affected. This permanently damages everything, and then you can be reinfected. So that's just the facts. That's what we know. Locally here, people say, oh, I don't know anybody. Do you know anybody? Yes, we do know. Now we know several people. We're in the hot zone, and you don't have to believe me. You can wait until it comes to your town. In fact, it's probably already there. There's a time and a place where everybody needs to stop saying this is a common cold, this is that. First off, if they are saying it's 10 times more fatal, I don't know how many times it is more fatal, but I do know that it's different. It is definitely different. Whatever's going on here is definitely different. We've lost people. We've lost somebody who mattered to our family friend tremendously. So again, nobody's going to believe it if you're one of those, I know, whatever. Just wait, because that's what this is what's happening. It is getting to everywhere. So whatever this is, it is definitely something. And
Adam, it's interesting, the people that think one way or the other on whether or not this is real or some sort of manufactured situation. It doesn't matter. What we're seeing is the foreshadowing from what
China, we're seeing is lockdowns.
Italy.
We're seeing lockdowns.
West
global
West
lockdown.
Coast, and it's going to roll its way, and from the East Coast, and roll its way across America. We're going to, if you don't believe that what you've seen happen in other countries is not going to happen here, then you need to wake up, because it's the writing's on the wall. That is coming here. For whatever the underlying reason is, if you don't want to believe that or not, that's fine. But these are the actions that are coming, and you need to understand what that is and how you need to prepare yourself, your family, to deal with that situation as it does come forward.
What is actually happening. Doesn't matter what the fairies are doing or what is going on. The country is soon to see possible lockdowns, and I say possible, and I mean probable. Here is going to see a lockdown. They know this, and they're basically setting up for it. New York knows this. They are setting up for it. They have National Guard because people are going to be pissed. That is a big, very uncontrollable city if they don't like what is going on. What's crazy is this is something that, the boogeyman can't be seen. So people want to stay in. This is a very thing. Governor Jay Inslee again said a whole lot during this last speech Even the woman behind him, just an ominous introduction. She says, this is going to be the most transformative thing in our time. And it really is. By the way, he said on Face the Nation just the day before that they need to, he says they need to activate what they did in World War II, which is mobilizing supply chains. I've taken video of the port, or at least what port I could reach without getting in trouble. But then Long Beach and Los Angeles ports, we know for a fact that there's articles, there's videos from several people. Now we know that it's light, and that's because we're not taking in stuff. We're basically not shipping stuff around. So the economy is kind of half frozen right now, and they need to start doing stuff in the United States. They need to basically ask, say, companies that are making, mittens to change production to masks, or that's what I predict. And that's what I predict, just because we actually have 13,000 people in our Discord. We're getting information every single day about this. So I would like to cover other stuff too, but at this point I'm in the hot zone and we're about to be locked down. So, at this point I would like to say, people that actually watch my normal show or watch my thing, I apologize, but this is what is happening. This is almost, for us, this is like almost go time, and go time for us means a vacation at our cabin, right? But really, it would be financially hurtful. It would be scary for us to do that in the same right too. So, we have a lot of people that depend on us for getting out information, out the news. We try to back up every single thing we say. In fact, I think that even the platforms are seeing that. Not the main one is starting to see that. We've had probably 3 months of demonetization, and all of a sudden, the last week, we're not getting hit. We're backing up every single thing we say with a bibliography of multiple sources. So as far as this goes, I think people need to seriously take a look at what their plans are. You need to understand that what Jay Inslee is doing is actually going to carry over to the rest of the country. This is just the start. We were the first infected state. We were the first perished state. Now, no matter what age group it affects, even if that was true, which that was based on a whole bunch of numbers that didn't belong. Even if that was true, that doesn't change the fact that they are saying that they are going to lock down major cities. This is huge. Dex, what if they lock down your city?
Yeah, I mean, we just saw our schools close here in Atlanta the other day. So yeah, it's happening everywhere. It will happen everywhere. And the thing like this, so you look at this closure, you think, oh, maybe it's an inconvenience to me. I have to stay home, or I can't go to the sporting event, or I can't go to, or maybe there's a question on whether or not I can host this wedding that we may have coming up next month. We have 250 guests coming. Is that allowed, right? There's another ripple effect. You've got small businesses all over every town, from small towns to big town. And I know in Seattle, there are plenty of restaurants and businesses and small businesses that are all going to take a monstrous hit. And it's not just the business owner, it's the wait staff, it's the bus boys, it's the chefs, it's everybody who's not going to have a job or not going to get paid, right? And the businesses aren't going to be able to pay their rent and pay any of those other things. So there will be a huge ripple effect when each of these things rolls out. This is huge. It's a big deal. It's not just how many people are going to the hospital, but it's also what else happens to the rest of the economy. And not just what are you importing from China, but, Bob's Burgers down the street. I'm sorry, that's a TV show, but you know what I mean? The burger shop down the street who you go to all the time that you love closes down for a month. They're going out of business. It's hurting them. Unless they're a large corporation, they've got a lot of money in the bank and they can withstand that. Right? It's a big deal.
One thing I don't get is that they're saying that you'll be able to get unemployment if your work is not the kind of work where you can work from home. If there's situations like that, where's this money coming from? I
Well,
don't.
that's coming from unemployment insurance, and I can't imagine if that's the case. I mean, I know they say that, and sure, you can make that claim, but that is going to also bankrupt the unemployment insurance business. There's an entire insurance business that these businesses pay the unemployment insurance so that when they do lay somebody off,
So if this happens
it
across the
pays them.
country, that's going to be gone. I mean, this is
yeah,
going
it's
to
all gone. I mean, those companies that are backing it, they're out of business.
That's why they're saying that this is going to be the most transformative thing in our time, period. This is not fear. You know what's so funny is our local news behind them the whole time they're talking about this facts, not fear. Everybody's afraid of being fear mongering, right? I honestly, at this point, I don't give a crap. We are being locked down. I mean, this is the first part. This is 250 people prohibited. Watch what happens next. He said it in clear as day. He said within the next couple days, we will probably further these restrictions. And it's happened like clockwork. We've said it's going to happen, and then it happens. You don't believe me? Just wait. And I'll be coming back in 3 days and saying, see, we told you so. But do you want to be right on something like this? No. Nobody wants to be right. Like, this is real. This is as real as it gets. As far as the thing that's causing it, don't know. But the actual actions that are restricting United States citizens, those are real. Italy is completely quarantined right now. This is the biggest thing that's ever happened in our lifetimes. I mean, even something like September is not this big in scale.
Absolutely. And if something like this is sustained for a long period of time, the transformations we're going to see the interesting thing is we're going to see large corporations like the AZ company that's actually based where you are. I don't want to name their name, but we all order from them, right? They ship to our homes. That's going to become the norm. It is the norm sort of now, but it all of a sudden becomes the only way you can get anything, right? And the only way we're going to be able to get stuff is through, and we're going to be forced into having a one or two options period that are controlled by a system that tells us how we can deliver products, how we can get things to our homes if we're not allowed to go out and get them.
What is like really going on here? It's really, really, really freaky, this whole thing. Again, this is not our normal show. If you've never seen our normal show, it's a live call-in, and we have people call in and give their opinions as well as give you the daily news. This has just hit us like a rock. I guarantee you this is going to affect major events. This is going to affect everything. And then for him to sit there and say, in the next couple days, this will probably be extended. I know it is going to. They're setting us up. They're telling us, hey, you're going to be on lockdown. Get your crap together right now. And that's exactly what is going down. New York has already got National Guard in place because I think that they feel like they might get some kickback when they do it in a few weeks. They have projectionists telling them that this is only going to get worse. And, I mean, they saw it. They say with these actions that it will slow. He says we want to be the most aggressive with it, which is not good for us, by the way. That means we're locked down. He says we want to be the most aggressive and show the world that we can. Oh my gosh, the words he was used, like you'd think he was doing something great. He's like, deliciously slow this thing down. I thought he was going to say like we want to be over with it. No, he's like to slow it down. It's very scary, but at the same time, we have to be logical. You have to set up your house if in case you have to sit there for 4 weeks. This is not a panic buy situation. People that say it's fear-mongering, wait until it comes to your town. What are you going to say when you are actually locked down? Oh, those guys are just fear-mongering, and then you try to actually leave your house and you're not supposed to. Okay, it's facts. It's literal facts that we are prohibiting 250 plus people, which means baseball games, all major sporting events, all major conventions, Comic-Con, all these things are canceled. Millions and millions are the economy effect just from this, just in our little corner of the country is gigantic. If then California and New York follows, you're talking about the top 5 economy. This is where most of our money from our country comes from. Those all 3 stop. Just those 3 will have a major impact. They say a recession is coming. They say all of this, right? Well, what I do see is that I see them restricting people's travel, requiring enhanced IDs. In fact, my friend, I talked to her and she said, yeah, I got my 2 kids enhanced IDs. And I'm like, why? And she obviously stated, she goes, well, you're going to have to. I'm like, for kids? You're going to have to if you want to travel just in general. This is before this. So again, there's just so much change happening in our world. And I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat here. I'm literally reading the writing on the wall. So I hope that all of you guys understand that in the next week, you are going to see this pop up in other cities. And eventually nobody will be sitting here like, oh, this is just a flu. It doesn't matter if it's just if it is, okay, you're still going to get locked down. Just saying. Dex, do you have anything else to say?
You know, a lot of people are afraid right now. And I think the one thing I want to tell people is, you know, fear is something that can harm you. It's something that can make you make bad decisions or make you turn away and run from something that you probably shouldn't. And I think, you know, take a breath. You know, a lot of the things we're talking about are scary, and they're not intended to necessarily create fear for you, but this is a reality we're living in. So I would encourage you, if you are scared, if you are feeling fear, to take a deep breath and try to restructure the way you're thinking about this. And it's not about, am I going to be scared, but what can I do? What step can I take today? What can I do tomorrow? What are the next 3 things I'm going to do to better myself so that I'll be in a better position to deal with what's coming, whether that's a simple step of, you know, saving some money on something here or buying an extra, you know, item that I may need for my medicine cabinet or whatever. Think of those little steps you can take and rechannel that fear. Because if you just live in fear, it's not going to be good for you, and it's not going to it's not going to do anything to help you in this situation right now.
No, I completely agree. And I think people are starting to understand that it doesn't matter what the hell it is. It's still changing the way that we live life. Now, if you guys want to help support broadcasts just like this, you can support us through NordVPN. Everybody knows what a VPN is at this point. If you guys want to support us, we're a small business and we're in the hot zone. We're obviously going to have to deal with this in our way. But again, this is something that everyone needs, a VPN. You can get special savings with the code Marfoogle. You know, as far as all of this stuff that's going on, it's smart to have. And then EMP Shield is running a contest. As many people that watch our show normally, this is a product that the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, DOD, and then of course the DEMSO team in Texas, protecting the Texas grid, they are officially part of it now. It's 100% American made, it's veteran owned, and again, this will protect you against EMPs. Right now, there's bigger things on people's mind, but this is something that's always going to be on the back burner for us, especially with the new bill that the president signed last year. So I hope that you guys all have an amazing night. Go to marfoogelnews.com/EMP to actually get them. And if you want to join the contest, they are giving 3 devices away to 3 people. That's $1,000 value to each person. Multiple ways to enter, marfoogelnews.com/contest. Thank you for supporting small news like myself and Dex. We are very appreciative of any support we get. Thumbs up, likes, all that kind of stuff. And of course, we love you much.
Absolutely.
You want
Much
to know
love
what's
to
going
everybody.
on? What's really going on when it happens? Go to marfoogelnews.com and get Marfoogle alerts along with a Discord invitation where you can find your local state group and get together with the Foogle fam. You'll find fast friends where you'll share prep and intel, and there's even special groups for former and current military. But don't try and steal the valor of those who have really served. It won't go well for you. The Marfoogle fam is waiting for you.